Trendsetters, rockhounds, TikTokers, how are yous? Happy New Year. It's the 1st of the 1st, 2025 here. Lightning Ridge, New South Wales, Australia. You're standing on the very first opal field in Lightning Ridge. It's now called Old Nobby. In its day it was just known as the Nobby. It's the field that's given the nodular opal its name, Nobby. And the original old claims here from 1902 stretch through there under all that backfill. You can see a step fault in the wall over there down in the open cut. Step faults produce opal. It's where the ground has shifted millions of years ago. You tend to find a series of them on the edge of the hill. Alright, so the story is, there's a couple of accounts actually from different authors, historians, that the first opal found here was found by kids. One account is that it was when they were setting rabbit traps with their father, picked it up in a little wash coming down the hill. And the other is that they'd picked it up when he was at work, played marbles with them. When he came home, they showed him their new marbles. Well, they weren't marbles, were they? They were nobbies. So he asked where, and of course that was over here. He dug holes on the weekend. He was a boundary rider. He worked the property here. When the property owners found out he was sacked, he kept on mining. So the first opal found here apparently was found by children, pretty much the same as Coober Pedy, but found by a 14-year-old looking for water. The best discoveries have been by accident, we all know that. Now, Jack Murray was mining here after he got the sack. A gold prospector, Charles Nettleton from Bathurst, came wandering through the area, apparently looking for gold. Some say he was on his way home, not sure. He stopped at a roadside inn about 25 kilometres out, the Wee Talabar Inn, and the publican there, he said, "Mate, you're a prospector, would you be interested in doing some prospect work on Angledale Station?" Well, he agreed. He sunk 2 holes out at, well, it's now called McDonald's, but it's the Nebia Ridges, and he was employed to dig 2 holes. Well, 2's all he dug. Didn't do any good. He knew Jack was getting opal over here, so, well, when he quit, he packed up his stuff, walked over here and started working with or next to Jack Murray. Now, the very first opal sold at White Cliffs from Lightning Ridge came from right here. It was sold by Jack Murray and Charles Nettleton. They both walked to White Cliffs to sell it. They sold it for £15. £15 was a lot of money back then. White Cliffs miners and people saw what the men had and the unusual nature of it being round and nodular, and followed them back. Now people, there was no water here in the old days, and the only water supply was a dam. Well, they set up a little township not far from that dam. We'll do the next video down there, but this little field has got so many stories to tell. It's the first opal field in Lightning Ridge. It's the first place where black opal was found. It's the first place where nodular, knobby opal was found. It started everything at Lightning Ridge, this field. This field has got just so much historical significance. Heaps and heaps. If it wasn't for this field and the kids, no one would have heard of Charles Nettleton, and, well, opal wouldn't have been discovered for a few years, well, later, I suppose. Someone would have found it eventually. But it's just sad that the kids don't get any credit at all for it. Jack Murray gets very little credit for it, and the one that does is the Johnny come lately, Charles Waterhouse Nettleton. Okay, thanks guys, enjoy your new year, hope it's prosperous, hope it's happy, see ya. In the distance there you can see the orange barrier mesh. The airport runway's just there, that's the end of it. So Nobby starts at the end of this mesh, runs through here and around the corner, probably 150 metres. That's the extent of the length of Knobby Field. Nothing happens out here. The opal dirt sort of, I don't know, just cuts out down there. So we're on the edge of it here, and it runs up to that old truck wreck. So it's not a big field, really. But in essence, people, it's probably one of the most richest fields that has been around Lightning Ridge, apart from the 3 Mile. It may have produced a lot more. But this field here, my God, gems, fantastic gems. My dad found a nice pocket with Klaus Breitkopf and Georgie Berger. Oh, over there between those piles of dirt. Mum always described it as looking at Christmas lights in the wall. It was just studded with opal. Fantastic. All right, a lot of old work here. Backfilled, all backfilled old open cut. The original old open cut was dug by a little bulldozer that had no hydraulics. It had the overhead cable winch. And back then, they only open cut on the gun, the top producing claims from the very early days. So that's right here. Right here is the area of discovery, just through here. Fantastic to be here. I love this sort of stuff. I love Lightning Ridge. I'm gonna die and be buried here. They got a plot for me at the cemetery, I'm sure.